Why are we talking about drugs?
Talking about drugs?
Why are we talking about drugs?
Why are we talking
Why
about
are we
drugs?
talking about drugs?
Why are we talking about drugs?
Why are we talking
Why are
about
we talking about
drugs?
drugs?
Why are we talking about drugs?
We're doing this because we've got a problem. We don't want it to be DARE. We don't want it to be, drug abuse resistance education that we went through in elementary school. And so the best way I think we can do that is to share the stories from our own lives, because when you kind of have student and teacher, it's, we're not real people, right? We just exist in the school and then we disappear when we leave, but we're real. And there is, even though we're all put together here at school, there's a lot of brokenness that happens in life.
What if that makes somebody uncomfortable?
It should. It should make people uncomfortable. Too many kids are losing their lives across the country, whether that's really losing their life and dying, or losing their life because their future's now in the trash, because they've lost self-control and they've kind of descended into areas of life that they may never have intended to get themselves into. So I wanted them to hear from us that we're real and that we care.
So when I was about 10 years old, my aunt went through a very bad divorce, and she started using prescription pain pills. She had 2 children. One is only 2 years younger than I am. It was really hard on them. Moved in with my grandmother, in and out of rehab facilities using these prescription pain pills. As time went on, she got worse and worse and worse. She got defiant. She was literally, trying to hurt herself, trying to hurt her sister, trying to hurt her mom, who was taking care of her. So at one point, my mom and my grandmother just had to put her stuff outside in the yard and say, "You're not going to be able to be here unless you are, going to act like a civilized person." And one morning, my grandmother was at work and she called me, and it was in the summertime. I was out of school, I was in college. She called me and she said, "I need you to go check on Tammy. She's not answering the phone at home." So I went to the house right next door where my grandmother lived and opened the door, and I saw my aunt laying there on the couch. She was foaming at the mouth. She had taken so many pills that she was pretty much incoherent. So at that point I couldn't wake her up. I called the EMS, and she was in intensive care for 2 days, which was very difficult, and she ended up passing away at the age of, I believe she was around 30, 39 or 40, and like I said, she died in 2012. Very difficult on her kids, very difficult on my mother. It was her only sister, and it's always difficult for a parent to lose a child. You just have to let them know that you're trying to help them. Whatever you do is folly unless they want to help themselves. So you have to make them understand that you can't get them out of it, bills can't get them out of it, other people can't get them out of it. They have to literally work and keep working until there is a solution to the problem.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Most recent one was probably over the summer. I was working patrol. I just got on patrol. It's probably 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Got a call from dispatch. Girl going into cardiac arrest. CPR in progress. So I was literally probably 200 yards from the house. I was the first one there. I get in there, and it was just a drug house. You could tell. The girl's laying there. She's got puke beside her, puke all over her face. I get in, there's some drug head trying to do CPR on him. I get him back, I start doing CPR. After that I had to do my death investigation. But where she's at, they thought they knew what her first name was. So they tell me that, and that's all I have to go on. I finally look around, we find a phone, and we had to figure out who she was to notify her parents. So it wasn't too much longer. I was going to somebody's house, talking to the parents, letting them know that their 20-year-old kid died, and that person went to Carson probably a couple years back. So. Yeah, they were devastated. I mean, their 20-year-old daughter just died, so yeah, they had no clue. She had started on, when she was here, she just smoked marijuana, and she started getting into pills, and she had started to try heroin, and from the investigation we was able to determine that was probably one of the first few times that she had tried heroin.
I'm going to tell you about my mom and how Miss Bird got to be Miss Bird. So I come from a family where drugs and alcohol are very rampant. My dad is an alcoholic. He is an addict. He is still an addict to this day. He is a heroin user, and that's something I think all the time when he calls or I see his phone come up, that someone's either A, telling me that my dad is dead, or B, that my dad's gonna say he's about to kill himself. But my mom did not want that life for me. She tried very hard to steer me away from that altogether. And so she worked very hard to make sure that I knew everything that I could about drugs and what happened when you use them and who it affected. And so she literally used our family as my life story. If you don't want to end up like your Aunt Karen, then don't take Xanaxes. If you don't want to end up like your dad, don't drink and don't do heroin. If you don't want to end up like your Aunt Dana, don't smoke crack. So those were my life lessons. Actual people that I saw destroy themselves, destroy their children, because a drug got a hold of them and took over, and it was no longer about what they wanted or what they needed. It was about the drug. So my mom was my greatest teacher in showing me through people what drugs do. And so I'm very thankful for her. And what is sad is that now she is addicted to pills. And so I get it. You're interested. It seems like something that you want to do, but it doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone around you. And so I hope to be a lesson for you that you can be stronger than your surroundings. You have to kind of admit to it, own up to it, and also know, like, it doesn't define you. And so you can change your path. You get to write your story every single day. And I think maybe trying to give a little bit of hope is a big part of that. Hope that it doesn't have to be this way, or you can figure out a way, or we can figure out a way together to change it.
Why are we talking about drugs?
Because we care.
Because we care.
Because we care about y'all.